talking about security in an IXP session. First, because I didn't really have a choice. They got to me at the last stage, at the last possible minute. But secondly, because the exchange point is really the heart of everything that we're doing in the country. At least your first exchange point. It's the heart, it's the beating heart of that growing internet economy. Because you'll see, you'll have the internet exchange point. Attached to the exchange point are obviously going to be your service providers with their customers, and that's going to help to localize your traffic. And you know the benefits. You've heard them before in multiple conversations. Faster access, cheaper access, but security. You can't hope to start having data centers that start to function if you don't have an internet exchange point where people can, well, networks can access from that, networks can access. You can't hope to start bringing international carriers into your country until you have a functioning, working internet exchange point. Because the carriers are not going to come into your country to sell individually to people. They're going to look for data centers and they're going to look for internet exchange points. And again, by them coming into your country, you're minimizing where your packets are flowing, you're improving your security. And the last thing that I didn't talk too much about, because it was covered again in one of the earlier slides, was when you have an internet exchange point, it also becomes, I'm on the wrong slide, it also becomes an outbound DDoS sink. Because you're able to deploy things like Anycast services. You heard today talk about how DNS amplification is one of the worst types of attacks. You heard yesterday the gentleman from .tr say that they saw something like 120 gigabits a second of attack traffic. Well, a well-run exchange point with services that matter to the local community, like Anycast DNS services, becomes your outbound DOS sink for that sort of traffic. And all of that put together contributes towards total internet security of the country. So thank you very much. I'm here for questions.
Thank you, Nishal. Any question from Nishal in internet security and also maybe root servers?
So the original talk was on, I say root servers because I'm English, South African English, but some of you might be Americanized, I'm sorry for that, and you might say route servers instead. The initial talk was about BGP route or route servers at internet exchange points. I think the materials are still on the internet. It's by a gentleman from France IX, Arno, so you can download and probably read that. But if you want to talk about BGP route or route servers, I can try to answer questions, and there's other smart people in the room that can probably also help you as well.
So no question? If anybody have a question, it can be somehow private. We have 20 minutes to break. Arnold is here, Nishal here, Kaveh. They can help in IXP questions and building up IXPs. Oh, okay, we have Dimitri. Yeah.
I thought we said no troublemakers.
Is it on now? Okay, good. Yeah, Dmitry, Housemaster.ua. Well, I like it, all parts of your presentation. There was a part about bootstrapping certificate authority. I know Dane is all great, but have you actually looked at cost to bootstrap, let's say, traditional certificate authority? Because, you know, it's no small change. So that's a good idea. Have you actually tried this? Do you know somebody who did that? Because it sounds enticing. You know, I'll start one tomorrow if it's that cheap, you know.
So you're talking about bootstrapping the regular type of CA inside a country?
Right, yeah. Because that's a really interesting topic, and I bet many countries in the world, including developing regions, don't have their own and basically rely on imports, you know, the big American or, let's say, Western European players.
Yeah, absolutely. So I haven't done that myself, per se. I've worked with well, at least one developing country that's done that, and you're right, it's not cheap. But you know, honestly, I have to look at least the model of the country that I was living in at the time when I was working with them, and I have to look at what they were aiming to do versus what we could do today with TLSA a day. And I'm seeing very little benefit in the resources that they expended in trying to get a traditional CA up versus what I see TLSA being able to solve today. So you're right, a traditional CA is not cheap, but it hasn't really bought them that much.
Yeah, it's much more expensive than starting an exchange or starting CCTLD, especially now they can use cloud services for CCTLD. So what was the country that used that approach?
It wouldn't be right for me to pick on small island states that I might have lived in.
Oh, it doesn't matter, but I mean, okay. I just thought you have experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, any comment, any question? Thanks, Nishal, for your presentation. Okay, so it's break time. We will be back here at 4 o'clock. Yeah, for closing, and we have a little light talk. Thank you.